This historical view captures the massive scale of a three-story Victorian home in Cayuga, Indiana. In 2019, properties like this represented a classic real estate opportunity, a cheap acquisition for any buyer willing to put in the heavy renovation work. Homeowner Brenda Johnson purchased this sprawling property, known locally as Willow's Weep. She had heard the rumors that the house was supposedly an evil place, but she brushed them off as small-town ghost stories, focusing instead on her plans to restore the aging structure. But shortly after the tools came out, the project ground to a halt. The physical environment itself seemed to violently resist being changed. While Brenda's son was working on a ceiling, heavy wooden planks suddenly ripped loose. They launched aggressively across the room, striking and injuring him. The hostility quickly turned toward Brenda. Doors would slam shut under their own power as she walked through the halls, and on one occasion, she found 6 deep, unexplained claw marks raked directly down her own back. The dread Brenda felt, combined with these physical attacks, pointed to a source far more targeted than structural decay. She realized she was sharing the house with a deliberate, malicious presence. Stalled on her renovation and severely shaken, Brenda reached out for professional help, bringing in paranormal investigators Dave Spinks and Haley Sharp. Their goal was straightforward: objectively document the anomalous activity Brenda reported and figure out exactly why this specific house violently repels anyone who tries to inhabit it. Almost immediately upon arriving at the property, the team encountered the same physical rejection Brenda had described. Even standing out on the perimeter of the lawn induced a wave of intense, inexplicable nausea. If this was a haunting, it was an incredibly aggressive one. The investigators had to determine what historical anomaly was generating enough energy to turn a quiet Indiana residence into an active hazard. To understand the current hostility, the team looked past the recent renovations and dug into the historical data. What they found was a staggering statistical anomaly in the property's mortality rate. The timeline of tragedies began in 1890, almost immediately after construction was completed. The original builder of the home died unexpectedly in a bathtub. Looking at this timeline of fatalities, a dark cluster of events stacks up under that single roof over the next 100 years. The records detailed 2 suicides, 1 hanging, and 3 fatal poisonings, all isolated to this specific address. This dark history continued right up to the immediate present. Just 6 months before Brenda purchased Willow's Weep, another man took his own life inside the home. The details of that recent death are remarkably grim. The victim sat decomposing in a chair inside the locked house for an entire week before anyone discovered the body. A single tragic event in an old home is common. A continuous century of concentrated, violent death points to something far more severe. The location operates as a localized magnet for human tragedy. If the history couldn't fully explain why the energy was so concentrated, the investigators realized they needed to look at the physical construction of the space itself. These original 1890 blueprints show the intricate south and north elevations of the home. The team pulled these plans to search for physical anomalies. Close inspection reveals a highly unconventional layout that completely ignores standard Victorian design practices of the era. When you strip away the exterior framing to look at the overarching floor plan, this bizarre geometry becomes obvious. Willow's Weep was constructed in the exact shape of an upside-down cross. That deliberate architectural choice provides a terrifying link between the original builder's death, the century of subsequent tragedies, and the physical attacks Brenda endured. The evil is woven directly into the foundation. A structural footprint mirroring an inverted cross, an unbroken 100-year streak of gruesome fatalities, and a modern environment that violently expels its owners cannot be dismissed as coincidence. This leads to a theory that redefines the purpose of the property. The investigators propose that the home was meticulously designed as a supernatural trap. This hypothesis suggests that the inverted cross footprint was functional, designed by the builder to act as a geometric anchor. By aligning the walls in this specific inverted configuration, the architect may have intended to draw in and indefinitely contain entities within the structure's physical boundaries. The house remains a physical marker of a force the original architect felt compelled to isolate from the outside world. It leaves us to reconsider the physical spaces we inhabit every day. we have to ask how many other seemingly innocent structures were actually designed to hold things we cannot see.